I mean, there's nothing that you and I can attempt where the possibility of failure is going to be completely removed from our life. That just doesn't happen. So, you just can't remove that possibility of messing up.
Hi, I'm Chris Godey. I don't know about you, but I know that I love to absorb content. There's so much free content out there. However, one challenge that I do have is that I often struggle to then take that content and put it into practice. I don't change the habits that I need to based off of the video that I've been inspired by. If that's you, I want you to watch this video, and then I would love for you to comment, and we would love to hear your thoughts below.
You get it now? You see it all. The waterfall, the leadership, we're blessing others. My gosh, this just works. We join hands, we put the ladder, help people rise up to their potential. We talk about values of the heart because we want to be bigger on the inside than the outside. We put a table together so that they could literally experience this community of awareness and growing and helping one another. It's such a beautiful thing. And the last picture is a bridge. And the bridge helps people get from where they are to really where they want to go. And I love the bridge picture because when you think of a bridge, when you build a bridge, what do? You build a bridge because the territory is uncrossable. The only way a person can get from point A to point B is there's got to be a bridge. A bridge makes crossable what has been uncrossable. It's an incredible enabler to allow people to go. And by the way, when they build a bridge, they always build a bridge to a desired location, territory, place. I mean, you don't build a bridge to where there's nothing on the other side that people don't want to go. No. Every time there's a bridge, it helps people cross things that they couldn't cross on their own to go to a better place that they've always wanted to be. And that is, my friend, the picture of transformation. So let's talk about why we need to keep failure and success together. Don't separate them. It's not either or. It's both and. Let's say that I'm doing well, okay? I'm just on a roll, okay? And business is going good and recruitment's going well and everything's kind of going my way and I'm having success. I need to keep failure very close to my success because the tendency for success without failure is for me to have a sense of arrogance, almost like I can do no wrong. I think that's probably why Bill Gates said success is a lousy teacher. It makes people believe that they cannot lose. And that's not true. But if I'm on a roll and I'm succeeding and I'm doing really well, I need to keep failure close to me so that I consistently have humility within my life. Because when I have failure with success, it helps me to be realistic. It helps me to become humble. And humility is essential because humility helps me to be teachable. And if you're teachable, you're always learning. You're always growing. The moment I'm not teachable, I'm not going to grow and learn. And that's why failure needs to accompany success. And you are about to bless your state and your students as you let cascade from your leadership, your commitment, your desire to make a difference, refreshing water that everybody needs. Now, transformation starts with leaders, but then it continues by joining hands. Now we're going to talk about partnership. So get a picture of the two of us joining hands. I'm extending my hand out to you, and you're right now extending your hand out to me. And basically what we're saying is that this project is so important, that this project is so big. Honestly, we need each other. When I wrote my book, The Laws of Teamwork, one of the laws is the law of Mount Everest, which basically says, as the challenge escalates, the need for teamwork elevates. In other words, if we're going to climb Mount Everest, we're not doing that solo. I need you, you need me. We're kind of like Mother Teresa, who one time said, I can do what you cannot do. You can do what I cannot do. But what? Together, we could do great things. That's true in Change Your World. Together, we can do great things. We need each other. We have a Mount Everest challenge. Oh, we do a terrible injustice to people when we separate success and failure. And so many times I think in your type of organizations, this happens where we just talk about this person that's been highly successful. And, I started off in the company and I'm not doing near that well. And pretty soon I think, well, I'm not qualified, or I'm not gifted, or I'm not fit for this, or gosh, they're all better than me. Don't put success here and failure there. That's not the way life is. Success and failure, they belong together. I've never met a successful person that didn't have a lot of failure. And they learn from it and they improve because of it. In fact, it's those learning, improving moments of failure that make them successful. This is huge. So this is all in mindset. Mindset matters, Wow, it's so true in every area of our life. Connecting matters, growth matters. Number 4 in the Power 5 is leading matters. It just does. My life was totally changed in my young 20s when I came to the conclusion that everything rises and falls on leadership. Now, I'm 73, so go back 50 years ago, it was just a new thought to me. Wow. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And when you have a good leader, things go well. When you have a bad leader, things go bad. Now, 50 years later, you see, as you get older, you have less certainties. When I was young, I had a lot of certainties, had a lot of answers. Today, I have less certainties and less answers. Why? Because life has taught me that it's not always black and white. But the few certainties I have today, I'm more certain of than ever before. So my certainties are really certain in my life. And one of those certainties that I'm more certain of 50 years later is the fact that everything rises and falls on leadership. They have a resilience that helps them to get back up. So let's no longer separate success over here and failure over here. Let's put them together. Recently, I was doing a leadership Q&A, and somebody asked me a question. Could you tell me when was your last failure? And I thought for a moment, and I said to them, well, I have losses and failures every week. And it's hard for me to pick out my last one, and I'm trying to think it through. And I thought to myself, why is it so hard for me to just kind of pull out my last failure? And then I realized, because I keep success and failure together. And if I keep success and failure together, they get intertwined. And so did I fail in the last week? Of course I did. But with success, I had resiliency. And by the way, if I've been highly, highly successful, if you had asked me, talk to me about your greatest success in the last week, I'd have a hard time with that too. Why? Because I keep failure with success. In other words, when you don't isolate failure and success, what you do is you minimize both your failures and your success. You minimize them in your mind, so even though you're losing some and missing some and succeeding some, it all kind of levels out because you keep these two characteristics together so close that they allow us to, instead of having the highs and the just deep lows, they just allow us to kind of level out and be consistent. So if you want to return on your failure, keep failure and success together. Wherever I go, whatever president I'm speaking to in any country, I never need to convince them that their country, their people have a values deficit. I think we all realize we're in trouble. And what we're discussing and what we're finding is that we have begun to find the answer, and you're going to be part of the answer because we join hands and partner with you. So, transformation, changing your world. It begins with leadership that joins hands. But then what do? We help people climb out of whatever their situation is. We help them climb out to reach their potential. And how do we do that? Well, the third picture is a picture of a ladder, okay? And that's how people climb out. And by the way, the rungs of that ladder are values. And what we find is every time another person puts another good value under their belt and starts fleshing it out in their life, what we're discovering is they just climb up another rung of the ladder. And it's just very, very exciting. And I think what makes us unique, what's going to make you unique, is that we hold the ladder for these students. We help them. We don't just, throw a ladder down there and say, hey, find your way out. No. We hold the ladder, and we hold the ladder because we value the students. Let me just share it this way. If I see you as hurting, I'll help you. If I see you as broken, I'll fix you. But if I see you as valuable, I'll serve you. There's a difference between the first two and the third. You see, when I see you as hurting, I'll help you. Well, when I help you, and I can help you, and I love to help people, but I kind of have the upper hand. I helped you. You say, oh my gosh, look what John did. He helped me out of my problem. Or if I see you as broken, I fix you again. It's look what John did. I was kind of all messed up and broken, and he kind of put me back together again. But if I see you as valuable, this is what makes transformation, change your world, what we do so unique. We value the person. There's a big difference. Because once we value the students in this case, now we serve them with good, pure motives. Now we really want what's best for us and what's best for them. Our agenda is their agenda. And all of a sudden, it's all about the student and say, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to hold the ladder. I'm going to encourage you as you climb those rungs of good values. He anticipated the problem. Now, my life is being spent in helping countries experience transformation. This is a huge goal. This is bigger than life. Trust me on that. And the odds that we could ever see an entire country experience transformation, those odds are, extravagantly high if it'll ever really happen. And so people come to me and they say, John, those are awfully high goals you have there. Come on, fella, you can do better than that. I mean, you certainly don't think you're going to get there. And I say, well, I may not reach those goals. It's okay. You see, I would rather have a mission much bigger that would allow me to stretch and have some losses in my life than to have something so small that it would be easily attained by hardly doing anything at all. And so, but I'm ready. I'm ready to embrace hard. I'm ready to come into a situation here and anticipate not maybe pulling transformation off in a country. But I have made 3 major leadership mental decisions. My mental preparation, just like that pilot who said, I'm going to get that nose back up in the air. My mental preparation in anticipating that maybe my goal is so big I'll never see it accomplished in my lifetime. Here's what I have decided. Number 1, I will keep moving. And the reason I decide I will keep moving is because in difficult times, the tendency is for us to stop. And the moment we stop taking action, we lose every time.
If you have the privilege of leading a team or an organization, and you would love help with enhancing your leadership culture, maybe even developing some of your high potential leaders, just follow the link on the screen, and we would love to connect with you.
Leading truly matters. And the ability to lead well, the ability to teach your people how to be good leaders, how to lead themselves so they can lead others, how to be the example for others. I mean, it's absolutely life-changing. So I've given you 4 of the 5 and the power of 5. And all of them are essential every day in your business. I mean, just think about it for a moment. Wow. You want your people to keep growing because that's their future. As you grow your people, you grow your company. You want your people to know how to relate, connect, understand what motivate people from their motivation so that you can really bring out the incredible best in their life. I mean, you just want that for them. You just know that they need it. You want them to have the right mindset. It matters how they think. It matters how they lead. And the last thing, number 5, is significance matters. It just does. Success is about you and me. It's about what we do for ourselves, okay? And success is good. It's very good, in fact. But I know a lot of successful people. Man, a lot of them. They're, got a lot of money, got all the stuff, but they're not happy. Not happy at all. But once you leave the world of personal success and what am I gaining for myself, and you cross over to the world of significance, which is now it's all about adding value to others. No longer are you consumed with adding value to you, but you're your world begins to be expansive and you see others, and now you're wanting to add value to others. This is the world of significance. Significance matters. In fact, one of the things I love again about your organization is that you are an organization of significance. You are committed to helping people, adding value to people, making them better, and so that they can add value, help people, and make other people's lives better. So I salute you on that. When I take teams into international settings to teach transformation, we'll have not a lot, maybe 200 or 300 people that'll go with us for 4 or 5 days, and in those 4 or 5 days we'll train, equip, 20,000 what we call transformation table facilitators. To those 20,000, we'll take 100,000 in the next 6 months and train them. But when I do that, I tell them the first day, because they pay all their expenses. They clear their calendar. It's all serving. Trust me, it's all serving. And on the first night before they really launch into this equipping time in their life, I share with them, I know you came to add value to all these people and you're going to add incredible value to them. But after the 3 or 4 days you're with me, when you get back on the plane, you're going to sit in your seat and all of a sudden you're going to realize that you got the better end of the deal. That yes, you came to add value to them, but because you did something significant, the return has already gotten bigger than what the gift was. And I always close with this statement because it's true, and I'm going to close my talk with you today with this statement also. It's because it's so true. Once you've tasted significance, success will never satisfy again. It just won't. So I thank you for the opportunity of talking to you. Hopefully I've added value to you. I thank you for who you are, what you do. I wrote the book, The Power of Five, for your organizations, but a person that it values, because I have spoken for so many of you and I see the value that you bring to people. I thought that people that weren't part of your organization needed to know who you really were from somebody else's perspective. So hopefully the Power of Five will add value to you, add value to your people. And just always remember, this is quite simple. My name is John, and I'm your friend. And leadership, when it's working correctly, really blesses a lot of people. I've said for many, many years, in fact, I've really become known for the statement, everything rises and falls on leadership. And it's true. And as I've watched this statement just literally pan out in every country basically of the world, what I've discovered is this, that when leadership rises, it's because leadership has good values and it also has competence. And when those two things come together, you're competent as a leader and you live out good values, then there's a rising effect to leadership, just like everything rises and falls on leadership. When leadership goes down the wrong way, it's because of a lack of competence in the leaders and a lack of good values. And so we're going to come alongside you to equip your students to not only be potential leaders in the future, but to have within them good values that will enable them to be not only good citizens, but just even now make a difference. I mean, think what will happen when children learn good values in the school and they even go home. And many times they're going to become the example maybe to the parents or to the siblings about really just living a good value life. I teach a lot of laws in my book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, but one of them is the law of the lid. And the law of the lid just says how well you lead determines how well you succeed. In other words, everything does rise and fall on leadership. We get better because we found a better way. We found another way. So we test. And with a lot of testing comes some failing. And with all failing, if we have the right attitude, comes learning. And the goal and the purpose of learning is to improve our life, okay? So if I do it well, then what happens, very simply, is that I keep growing in this experience. I test, I fail, I learn, I improve. And at the improvement part of this cycle of success, once we've improved, we go to the fifth step, which is re-enter. We don't re-enter until we improve, okay? But the moment we improve, we're back in that game again. And by the way, we're testing, failing, learning, improving, re-entering, and we keep going. But now watch my hand just for a moment, because I want you to see how the cycle of success really works. I test, I fail, I learn, I improve, and then what do? I re-enter. But I re-enter at a higher level. I just improved. And I test, fail, learn, improve, re-enter. And I test, fail, learn, improve, re-enter. Test, fail, learn, improve, re-enter. You can see what happens. The cycle of success done correctly allows us to get a huge return on our failures, on our losses, on our misses. I had a friend one time share with me the difference between high morale and low morale. I liked it so well that it's now mine, and I pass it on to you. He said high morale is when people can look at themselves and look at each other and say, we are making a difference. And low morale is when people look at each other and honestly say, we're not making any difference at all. You are about to enter that high morale stage of your life where you're really making a difference. Now, let me stop. You've been making a difference for years. In fact, maybe the biggest difference you've ever made is just your faithfulness and consistency of hanging in the education system during COVID. What I've discovered is when people have labored under great stress and strain, the greatest thing I can do as a leader is to hand them a resource, a tool that'll just let them see the light and again make a difference, and maybe even a bigger difference than they ever have before. And I think that's possible. I think that's what I Lead is going to do with you and for you. And we're going to partner with you and serve you. So get ready to maybe make a bigger difference than you ever have before. And remember, my name is John, and I'm your friend. The second thing I would encourage you to do in getting a return on your failure is understand the difference between what I would call good misses and bad misses. Yes, there are some good misses in your life, and yeah, there are some bad misses. Now, when we think of miss, we just immediately put it into the category of bad. I mean, when you think about it, if you're swinging a bat and if you miss the ball, is there anything that could be positive out of that? I mean, do you mean, John, that there's such a thing as a good miss? Yeah, I mean just exactly that. That when you and I have misses, which we do all the time, we have to ask ourselves, is this a good miss or is this a bad miss? For example, if it's a good miss, even though I didn't, quote, hit the ball, it moves me forward. That's why I wrote the book, Failing Forward. It's a book about how in your failure, you can still move forward in spite of it. Well, if I'm failing forward, if I'm moving forward in my failure, it's a good miss, just like a bad miss moves us backwards. It takes me and now I'm further from my goal than I ever have been before. Let me explain it this way. And I think this is huge right here. If I've had a good miss in my attempt to do well, if I've had a good miss, I make adjustments. I say, wow, okay, I see that now. Well, I'm going to just adjust this area and get on with my life. You see, on good misses, I make adjustments, and on bad misses, I make excuses. And there's a difference, a big difference between making adjustments and making excuses. And if it's a bad miss, I'm going to always give excuses for why I didn't have it, couldn't, shouldn't, won't. In fact, let me just say this. It's easier to go from failure to success than it is from excuses to success. But because we've literally had millions of adults go through Change Your World tables, and we've had literally millions now of students go through the I Lead program, what we've discovered is the magic of the table. First of all, it brings awareness to the group. You have to know yourself to grow yourself. And we don't have self-awareness unless somebody besides us cares for us enough to help us see our blind spots. So around that table, there's an increased awareness. There's an ability to evaluate yourself because you're hearing other people talk about how they're applying the values to themselves. There's an amazing community comes out of these tables because everybody's sharing. Every values lesson has an application to it. There's no traction without action. And so they're going to go try it. And then there's kind of an accountability because when you come back, you want to be able to say, I'm learning this and I'm doing better. And others are, there's just magic in those tables. But I have made 3 major leadership mental decisions. My mental preparation, just like that pilot who said, I'm going to get that nose back up in the air. My mental preparation in anticipating that maybe my goal is so big I'll never see it accomplished in my lifetime. Here's what I have decided. Number 1, I will keep moving. And the reason I decide I will keep moving is because in difficult times, the tendency is for us to stop. And the moment we stop taking action, we lose every time. There is no success without action. So what do? I say, in spite of this large goal that may never happen, that I may never accomplish it, if the way gets tough, I will keep moving because keeping moving is the only way I can ever work my way through it. Number 2, I will not only keep moving, but number 2, I will keep adjusting. I will keep leader shifting. I will keep doing everything possibly I can to adjust myself to meet the needs of the hour. And number 3 is I'll keep believing. I'll just keep believing. I'll believe that I can accomplish this with my team, obviously. I'll believe that the impossible can become very, very possible. Now, because I anticipate mistakes, failures, losses, misses, I made that early decision that I will keep moving, I will keep adjusting, I will keep believing. It gives you an inner strength that allows you to do what you should do, not what maybe pressure is given to you by your peers or your community. And what we're seeing is we're just seeing that it's true. An empty bag doesn't sit up straight. You put an empty bag out in your yard and you look out there 30 minutes later, that bag's for sure it's down, but it's probably blowing away. Why? It had nothing within it. Well, an empty bag doesn't stand up straight, and neither do people that lack values. You and I both know that that's a real negative in social media because of the control it has over kids' lives. And the greater values I have in me, the less validation I need outside of me. And so what we have discovered is, since Enron 20 years ago, that it's not the laws that make a difference in a culture, it's the values. It's a heart issue. And so there's a beautiful picture of a heart inside out. So we're just going through transformation and we're seeing how it unfolds in your life and in my life. Leadership, waterfall, top down. Yeah. And then joining hands side by side, and then the ladder from the bottom up, and then values from the inside out. One of the 7 questions that I ask at my learning lunch is just simply, talk to me about how failure has shaped your life. And every time I ask that question, they begin to lean forward, and every person, 100% of the time, they begin to talk about how failure has helped them. That in their journey to success, they've had misses and they've had losses, but it was okay. And it was okay because in the process of those losses and those misses, there were things that they began to learn. And so many people, almost all of them, really give their losses and their failures credit for a lot of their success. And over time, I've realized that there are 3 lessons that we learn from our losses. First of all, there's just no success without failure and losses. Secondly, failure and losses develop qualities that we need to be successful in life. And developing, thirdly, these qualities plus learning from these losses will help me to become very, very successful.
Wow. If you're like me, you watch a video like that from Maxwell Leadership and you just get inspired. I love how it's so practical. It just makes a lot of sense. But here's the challenge. We have to commit to each other. We have to commit to change, both in our personal lives and also our professional lives. Looking for more information about the Maxwell Leadership Certified Team? Follow the link below to learn more. We can't wait to hear from you and add value to your lives.